Love, have you noticed that they are looking at us a lot? Yes. Why would it be? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and this doggo will show you how to walk on water. My 29th boyfriend, 29M, keeps getting into fights with the cook at Waffle House. This is the crazy part, my boyfriend keeps going back and ordering eggs and getting into fist fights with the same cook. It's almost a ritual at this point. My boyfriend orders runny eggs, the cook serves him some other version of eggs, and then they beat the shit out of each other. I quit going with him after the second fight, but he kept going by himself. They're like Peter and the giant chicken from Family Guy. It's the weirdest thing. They physically fought like 6 or 7 times over this. I've tried to talk to him about it a few times, but he keeps saying it's a matter of principle. I've told him to talk to the manager or something like that, but he just waves me off. Apparently that cook hasn't yet made him the correct runny eggs, but it's like he spends the week learning new ways of preparing eggs to piss my boyfriend off. Realize girlfriend tits are big when she took her clothes off. I've been dating my current girlfriend for 1 month now. She dresses humbly even during our dates. I'm attracted to her optimistic and caring personality, thus, didn't pay too much attention to her body. I've always thought she's the slender body type as she covers like vast majority of herself. Today afternoon, she came over to hang out with me as I'm working from home. Only need 3 days RTO. One thing leads to another and the moment came. She took off her dress and holy moly. Her tits are quite big by proportion to her slender body type. She may be a C or D, but looks incredible. We broke up literally a year ago. Can you please stop playing chess with my dad on Messenger? It's disgusting. Just because I lost the queen doesn't mean I give up the king. Progress is the best feeling in the world. Men will get fired, divorced, be in debt, and the only thing they'll say is I'll figure it out. And they always figure it out for real. Because crying not gonna solve the problem. The masculine urge to slowly bleed out here. Some girl just crashed into me and we both didn't know what to do, so we called our dads and we are just standing here holding our phones together so our dads can talk to each other. Bears kept stealing honey from a man's bee farm, so he turned them into honey tasters. I paid for this ad spot because I hate ads. Enjoy this pic of a cute turtle instead. Peace. What's harder? Peeing with a boner 1300. Giving birth 20. I love democracy. Men of Reddit, what makes you feel manly / like a real man? Providing for my family. Fixing something around the house. Opening a jar for my wife. Watching my son do something, then he looks over at me to make sure I saw it. Having people at work ask me for advice. Giving a first toast at a dinner. Height lengthening surgery, going from 5'7" to 6 feet after very painful procedure. Girls, oh no, I don't have anything to wear. Boys, 2002, 2004, 2007, 2022. Guys will see this and think hell yeah. Girls, 1 year of friendship, 400 photos. Men pick up a few games, movies, and songs they liked when they were 15 to 25 and then don't consume any other new media ever again. No bro left out. So I walked into the dentist this morning. My dentist asked me how my weekend was. I said good. I watched Captain America last night. I really liked it. And my dentist says, oh, my son is in that movie. At first I thought he was joking, but then I realized. Dr. Robert Evans. I looked it up. My dentist is Captain America's dad. Dolph Lundgren reveals he's cancer-free following 9-year battle after doctors gave him 2 years to live. Boyfriend who dated 35 women and told each one he had a different birthday, so he regularly received gifts, is arrested for fraud in Japan. A 15-year-old dude pretended to be a 14-year-old girl on Tinder. A pedophile started to talking to him. They agreed to go out. When they arrived, the pedo was expecting a 14-year-old girl. He found a 15-year-old boy dressed up as Spider-Man that beat his ass. Welcome to Brazil. He needs to stop working so much. Everyone's counting on me. Are my dreams just dreams? How will I save my family? I need to make it. What if I fail? Tommy's family restaurant. My name is Tommy, so I left 5-star. Hey, thanks. From one Tommy to another, we bet you're 5 stars too. Tommy. The masculine urge to not tell anybody a goddamn thing. This is the ideal male bedroom. Clucking hell. My ex-husband fed my vegan daughter McDonald's chicken nuggets behind my back. Now she keeps demanding meat. My 98-year-old grandma has been making me birthday cards for years. This one is the most plain of them all, but meant the most. Happy birthday, Elliot. You have blessed my life for 47 years. This will be my last time trying to write on computer and doing it as hands. Don't want to write and now memory going fast. But trying to do a birthday card for you, my dear precious Elliot. Love you so much. Grandma. Rose. Why am I too attracted to my wife? I know this sounds weird, but I have been with my wife for about 10 years, 8 years dating, and almost 2 married. I have always found her beautiful and super hot, but lately these last few months I'm obsessing over her. I feel like she's way too hot. I can't stop staring at her when we are in the same room. Is this normal? Do I need to do something? I tried looking online for help, but there isn't anything out there. I have no friends or family to ask about this. Thanks for the clarification, Dad. Happy 21st birthday to my beautiful daughter, left, Raylin. 25-year-olds, 1990s, 2020s. Men of Reddit, what makes you feel manly? Carrying my sister's kids, 2 nephews and a niece, around. They always ask me to pick them up whenever I see them, so I started lifting weights a couple years ago, just so that I could continue doing it as they got bigger. It worked out as I intended. I got a lot stronger and now the boys are 9 years old, and I can still carry one of them under each arm. They love it, since their mother can't pick them up anymore, and their happiness makes me feel good too. God forbid men have hobbies. Arkansas men arrested for taking turns shooting each other while wearing bulletproof vest after drinking. Net worth hit $14 million and I'm bored. What the duck to do now? I have $14 million and I don't do shit with it. It's all invested, but even making or losing $500,000 in a day has no thrill left. My job is meh. Already have a hot wife, 2 good kids both in private school, nice houses, nice cars. Health is okay, but could be better. Shit diet, not fit, not enough friends, but don't really know how to make them at my age of 34. I'm just ducking bored now though. I feel like I've already gotten all the things I was supposed to, but I'm bored and just meh. I'm not unhappy per se. So what the hell do I do now? How should I spend this money? I can't believe I sent my dad a picture of me at Santa Monica Pier and his response was his GTA character at the same place. Farmers stand in silence at auction, so a young man can buy back his family farmhouse. No, this is literally bank robbery. More farmers. Cheaper burgers. When I was a teenager I visited my uncle and stayed on his ranch, and he had 2 llamas and I asked him why on earth he owned llamas, and he said, because I worked hard my entire life and I like them, and it was the most king shit I've ever heard. Autism be damned, my boy can work a grill. Farm herd Casper, who faced off 11 coyotes and killed 8 of them. He was missing for 2 days, right after which they believed he was tracking the remaining coyotes and finishing the job. His vet sad was lucky to be alive and his owner said he will have him retire from herding. Hello my wonderful grandson. I made too much chocolate sheet cake and will be delivering you some today. Grandma, I love you, but that's 2 hours of driving. You don't have to do that. Nonsense. Not that anyone really cares, but as of today I'm officially cancer free. Delivered a 450 grams baby. Told she was too small, had no chance. She kept stopping breathing, so stayed up with her for 2 nights rubbing her chest for every breath. Consultant said I was wasting my time. She just performed her first ballet as a healthy 6-year-old. Nearly 50% of men think they could safely land a plane in an emergency without any training. In 2012, John Unge was captured floating his dog to sleep in Lake Superior. His dog had developed severe arthritis and had weeks to live. John responded by taking him to Lake Superior every night to ease the pain in his final days. Trying to figure out how my husband knows about Bitcoin, car engines, world economy, inflation, politics, stock market, calorie deficit, etc., but never knows when and why I'm upset. Girlfriend left me and left her dog, so I redecorated. 2 men lost at sea for 29 days, say it was a nice break from everything. Dad loses 92 pounds after he couldn't keep up with his kids on a hike. A mother and her 8 sons who all served and all made it home. Keep thinking about this guy on the bus behind me yesterday with an infant who started crying, and he just went, "Now isn't the time for that." And the baby immediately stopped. "Now isn't the time for that. You're right, father, I will control myself." Men will make 6 figures and live like this. In 2007, a 43-year-old man named Lenny Robinson sold his cleaning business to pursue his dream of becoming Batman. His mission was to visit children's hospitals and spend time with kids, helping them through hard times and putting a smile on their face. When I was 6 years old, my dad told me he would give me $5 if I found a 4-leaf clover. I spent hours looking for one in my yard. Today I was watering my new trees and saw this. My dad's no longer with us, but I yelled at the top of my lungs, "Dad, you owe me $5. Tell me a soft memory. My oldest brother is 10 years older than me. When I was in 1st grade, he took me shopping for new school clothes, which was huge because, as the youngest of 6 kids, I lived in hand-me-downs. He bought me a little navy blue, polka dot dress with a Peter Pan collar and red alphabet buttons. But, on picture day, I lost one of the buttons on the playground. I had a total meltdown, because my brother spent his own money to make sure I had this new dress and I ruined it. I was a mess, totally inconsolable. My teacher was also the mom of one of my brother's best friends. She told him, and he, my brother and the entire football team searched the playground after practice for my lost button, which they actually found. My brother sewed the button back on himself in the car, all while trying to explain that he wouldn't have been mad even if I did lose it. It was just a button and a dress. But I did have one of those little red alphabet buttons sewn into my wedding dress. Robert Pattinson took an obsessed stalker out to dinner and bored her. He complained about his life the whole time, and he never saw her again. In the 1990s, a California man, Steve Comizer, began putting ads in national magazines selling solar-powered dryers for $49.95. Customers would then receive a simple cloth line in the mail. Tim Sweeney, the creator of Fortnite and CEO of Epic Games, is reported to own approximately 56,000 acres of land in North Carolina. He has been purchasing this land since 2008, primarily for conservation purposes, with the aim of protecting natural areas and preserving biodiversity. People who have been in a coma, what was your perception of time while in it? I was in a coma for a week after surgery. To me it was instant. The odd part, my mom talked to me while I was in the coma, and I remember the things she said. She talked about raising me, the funny things I did, etc. When my mom passed away in 2007, she fell asleep first. We knew she wouldn't wake up again. So I talked to her about how amazing she was as a mom. I talked for hours until she took her last breath. I hope she heard me. I wasn't always a good son. The mates who have met for a pint every Thursday for 56 years. In early 2011, Andy Van Den Herk falsely confessed to the murder of his stepsister, who was killed 16 years earlier. He did this so the authorities would exhume her body for DNA testing, which led to the arrest of the real killer. I found many old VHS tapes recently and wanted to see what is on them and realized I had no player. So I went to eBay for the first time and discovered your offer. I bought your VHS and you shipped it within a few days. The VHS looks new and unused. Amazing. I had some issues getting it going, which were mine and not the player. I'm 86 and perhaps not up to my game, but I do get there eventually. And I did, and discovered the VHS works perfectly. Thank you so much for your care, your efforts, and your promptness. I watched tapes of my retirement party from 25 years ago which I had never seen before. Geez, were we young. Then a tape of my wedding with all the family and friends, many of which are no longer around. Then skiing trips, kids growing up, travels, and most importantly the gentle maturing of my family. Each one more fun than the last. All thanks to your generous selling of the VHS player. I thought you would appreciate how much someone has enjoyed your offer. Best regards. MMA trained father rescues daughter. Intruders flee after failing to rob a £400,000 home. I was drenched in blood. Farmers arrest the sheriff for trying to evict a woman from her farm on behalf of the insurance company. Michigan, 1952. This is exempt property from seizure. This is a widow's homestead. Can you multitask? Yes. Actually, I'm losing my mind and chilling at the same time. Chef lost 21 stone after friend texted him fat duck every day for 6 weeks. Extremely sus of any man in their mid-20s to 30s who doesn't play a map-based strategy game. Like, how the duck do you get through life without occasionally taking the edge off my moving soldiers around on a map? All any man truly wants is a decently sized house on a few acres of land with a hidden 5-story subterranean bunker complex. What is the most a dollar has ever gotten to you? TLDR. A wife, 3 beautiful children, and frankly my life as I know it. Story time. Back in junior high, I liked a girl and flirted with her quite a bit. One time, during a band trip, we stopped at a gas station and she bought me a pack of gum. I tried to pay her back $1 but she refused. So, I slipped the $1 in her pocket. She then slipped the dollar in my backpack, and so began the back and forth with the $1 bill. We found silly ways to give it back and forth. I mailed it to her house. She stuffed it in a gum wrapper and offered me a piece. I then decided that I would ask her out on this $1. I wrote, "Will you go out with me on it?" and put it in a note and gave it to her. She said yes, of course. It would be a terrible story otherwise, I suppose. About 4 years later, I still had the same dollar kept away. On our anniversary, I wrote, "Will you marry me?" on the bottom of the dollar. We have been married for 15 years and have 3 awesome kids. We still have that dollar stored away. In 2015, a father saved his son's life when doctors wrongly declared him brain dead and were taking him off life support. He barricaded himself in the hospital and even armed himself with a gun. He then had a standoff with a SWAT team until his son squeezed his hand. The son ended up making a full recovery. Update: I cut my wife off from our finances because she wouldn't stop ordering takeout. 9 days ago, I made a post about how my unemployed wife had spent $1,176 on delivery apps in just a month. This is egregiously outside of what we can afford to spend on takeout, and since she didn't seem willing to stop, I cancelled our credit card and moved the money from our joint account into my own. For the following few days, my wife kept talking about how I was financially abusing her. She threw several tantrums despite apparently being severely malnourished, threatened divorce, threw a bunch of the food we had in the fridge away to try and strong-armed me into letting her get takeout, and even tried to guess my bank account password a bunch of times. Sorry, my password isn't Taco Bell 123. That last one was how I learned. If you try to guess someone's bank account password enough times, the bank will send them an automated email. What made you a lot of money, even though it seemed silly at first? I had a paper route as a 12-year-old kid back in 80s. Easy route, 80 some papers. I took a piece of paper, made her an ad, said wash your widows, mow your lawns, rake your leaves, shovel your snow, that type of thing. I took it to the library and made a few hundred copies. Stuffed it the paper every Wednesday like clockwork. Phone would ring off the hook at 7 PM. So I did that paper route all the way through high school and did all them jobs too. I kept doing that all the way up till I was 47 years old 2 years ago. I did that 23 years. Had a very successful landscaping business. And that's how I made all my money. 7% of men think they can beat a grizzly bear in a fight. 23% believe they can beat a king cobra, according to a new survey. I've been working for Little Caesars since 1998 and always said one day I would own one. It took longer than I had planned, but today I can officially say I own a franchise Little Caesars location. I'm so excited for what this is going to do for my family and what we'll be able to do for the families working with us. Our fearless rooster, Andre, was killed in the line of duty this week. He fought off a raccoon long enough for us to intervene, but he didn't make it. Not a single chicken was lost. He was their protector, a hero. He will be sorely missed. My heart is heavy. R.I.P. Sweet Prince. What's with the sticks? Wife here. I have a question for men. My husband, son and I were sitting at a bench outside at a park eating lunch. While there my son found this stick, about 2 feet, and my husband commented how that was a nice stick. Pretty unremarkable to me. After lunch he used our dog to distract me, while my son snuck it into the car. When we got home I found the stick in our car. Why bring it home? It's just a stick. I don't get it. Is there a thing with guys and sticks? Dude, sticks. Amazing. I'm trying to duck a girl that works at a bakery, so I told her I liked baking and tried to make my own sourdough, and now I have a new hobby and don't really feel like seeing her later today. My closest encounter with the Mafia is I went to a starkly empty pizza place in Rhode Island once. They seemed utterly confused that I wanted a pizza. It took 45 minutes to make. They gave it to me for free, and it was the best pizza I'd ever had. Woman who was stabbed 32 times by her ex-boyfriend married the paramedic who saved her life. What you have to remember about the past is that it literally doesn't exist. It exists only in your mind, your memories. No more real than a daydreamies. What you also have to remember is that your memories are most likely not as accurate as you think they are. They are colored by your emotions and how you were feeling, and colored by your memory itself. Your mind exaggerates some things and totally forgets other things. Someone else who experienced the exact same thing as you most likely remembers it much differently. Memories are not accurate and cannot be trusted. We gain our sense of self from our memories. We decide who we are because of our memories. We write a story about our life and tell ourselves that story to form our sense of self. Because the past doesn't exist anymore and what you remember happening probably didn't happen the way you remember it all, you can rewrite it. Rewrite the story you tell about yourself to yourself. Rewrite your personal story and rewrite your past, and you rewrite yourself. Today my husband bought an 18-pack of Batman ice cream bars. I'm so jealous of how happy they made him. My husband works as a handyman and does odd jobs through the summer, and he did some work today near the company that manages or supplies local ice cream trucks. He went over and asked if he could buy a box of Batman ice cream bars, and they were happy to sell them. He was so excited when I got home today. He sang the old theme to the Adam West show as part of the reveal. When I mentioned that we already had ice cream, his immediate response was, "Babe, that ice cream is great, but it's not in the shape of the world's greatest detective." To be clear, he didn't say it in a rude way, but in a "this ice cream looks like Batman and it's ducking awesome way." 2 of his friends came over to see and have Batman ice cream with him. I don't think anything has made me that kind of happy. Lots of other kinds of happy, but nothing like that. Maybe it's a guy thing. Maybe it's a Batman thing. Either way I'm jealous, and I don't want to be. I think my son is embarrassed that I'm a garbage man. Advice? I went to my son's school yesterday for Parent Career Day, and I was the last parent to explain my profession. I told the kids that I was a garbage man and I pick up their trash every day. I noticed that when I was talking, my son was looking down and looked embarrassed. Maybe it's because a lot of the other kids' parents were lawyers, bankers, scientists, and doctors. We don't have much money, but I work very hard to provide for my son, and it just hurt me a little bit that he put his head down and looked embarrassed while I was explaining my profession. When I pick him up from school, he was very quiet and didn't say much at all, which is unusual because he's very talkative. Is he embarrassed and ashamed of what I do? He is 10 years old. As hot of whiskey 219. Memellion includes a meme about drinking milk from human boobs. Me, that's not what I do with them. My ex, and that's why I left you.